Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Enchanted Magic. It's just me, Jeremy, this time, and we're going to talk about how to save money on some Disney World trips. That's what everybody wants to know, right? Thanks for joining me. Hit that subscribe button if you hadn't already. I'll make this short and sweet. Number one, are you flying in or are you driving in? It's definitely worth price checking. We are at just the right distance to where sometimes it's a little cheaper if we get one of these bargain flights and just fly in. Sometimes it's cheaper to drive in. It's worth weighing the options. Of course, if you fly in, you got to pay for transportation to get to the hotel and all that sort of thing. If you drive in, you got to pay for gas. But either way, check it out. See what's your best option. Number two, are you going to stay on property or off property? Typically, it is cheaper per night to stay off property if you don't mind staying at just sort of a regular hotel. But where they get you is you end up having to pay to park. You don't get to use the Disney transportation. And by the time you start adding up all this stuff, it's usually cheaper to just stay at an All-Star. But it's worth pricing it out. For our next trip, we're actually paying about half the price as we normally would staying off property. But by the time we add up how much trouble it's going to be to move the car around and do all this stuff, if they had any All-Star resorts available, I would definitely stay there, even though it would cost a little more. But definitely weigh your options. There are some hotels that are still affiliated with Disney, and you can use, you can still get in for early entry and that sort of thing. But most of those hotels, in my experience, cost the same or more than just staying on property. Number three, are you going to use lightning lanes? There are certain days and times and parks you can get away with not having or using a lightning lane, and it don't really make much difference. Animal Kingdom, for example, if you could rope drop Flight of Passage, basically everything else, you're okay not using a lightning lane. If you go from Flight of Passage to Kilimanjaro Safaris, first thing, there's not much else that has a big line. You know, middle of the day maybe, but even Expedition Everest on our last several visits in the morning and in the evening had like a 5-10 minute wait. So if you don't need the lightning lanes, don't use them. Or maybe if you just want to get an individual lightning lane, that might be worth it. Now, I will say Magic Kingdom, if you only got one day there, it's probably worth spending the money. But we're just talking about saving money here. Number four, time of year. Usually, from what we've seen, you know, like your Christmas time, there's certain busy times of the year you're going to pay more. I made a video yesterday, but look on the Disney World website, because they'll have deal. You know, right now it says if you book for the summer and it's like 5 or more days, you get 30% off. Well, 30% off if you're spending, you know, $1,000. That's a lot of money, $300. There's also deals like in the late summer when everybody's going back to school and they're trying to get people in. I think there's a deal where you get a water park day for 2025. Anyway, just check out the website, the Walt Disney World website. But you know, in the busier times of the year, they're not really going to have any kind of deals going on. So it's worth researching into. Food is number five, and that is a big one. We have found out if we take our lunch in, like sandwiches or Lunchables or Uncrustables or whatever, we can save a small fortune and not only save money, but not waste an hour or two trying to sit down and eat when we could just eat like a sandwich while we're waiting for the parade or waiting in line or whatever. And then at dinner, sometimes at dinner, you know, have that be your sit down thing if you got time to spare. But, you know, for a family to sit down and have a meal, even if it's quick service, you're looking at, I mean, it's just according to what you get, but $100 or more. And dinner can be a lot more than that. So save your money for lunch. If you need to, save your money for dinner, and you'll save a lot of time, and that might even lead back to not needing the lightning lanes. Number six is souvenirs. I always love to buy stuff at Disney World, don't get me wrong. But if you can wait, if it's a seasonal thing, a lot of times it'll go on sale. One example is I used to wear Crocs a lot, and now I still wear them every now and then. They had Haunted Mansion Crocs, and then after they sort of went out of season, they had them on the website briefly for like half off. I didn't get them quick enough. They were sold out. But they went from being like $80 to like $40 if I would just paid attention. There's the character warehouse where you can get stuff cheap. There's several outlets around Disney, and we found even Walmart, the local Walmarts to Disney, has a ton of Disney stuff way cheaper than you're going to get it at Disney World. So take the kids to Walmart. They don't care. Get them some whatever they want. I mean, there's tons of stuff. Save the money. The next one is gift cards. There's certain times of the year where you can buy Disney gift cards and get, you know, it'll be like a deal. If you spend so much, you get 5% off or whatever. So basically, let's say if you spend, and it's just me making it up, but if you spend $100, you get 5% off. So you're getting like an extra $5 per 100 you spend. So there's some money. During Christmas time, I've seen some discounted gift card deals at like our local places, like, you know, Sam's Club or Walmart or whatever. Also, I just found out while we're talking about cards, you can get a Disney credit or debit card. You don't have to get the credit card. I ended up, I don't want a credit card. I got the Disney Chase debit card, and it will get you 10% off a whole lot of stuff. It'll get souvenirs, merchandise, food. We already get 20% off because we're annual pass holders, but I wish I'd have known about this sooner, because I mean, literally, even if you don't use the card for anything except for, like, before you go to Disney, it's a checking account basically. Before you go to Disney, put some money in there and use it and get 10% off. That's a no-brainer. And it's not like, I'm not saying don't get the credit card. If you need a credit card, get it. But I know I've read in some message boards these Disney credit cards get some people in trouble. It also gets you access to certain lounges and stuff. I know at Epcot, behind, when you come out of Figment, if you take a right, there's a card holder lounge you can only get into, but you can have the debit or credit card. It don't matter. And it's through Chase, so you can Google that. 10% off, like a ton of stuff. It'll tell you on the website. Next is, like, if you don't mind choosing which park you go to, Animal Kingdom's typically a good bit cheaper to go to than, say, Magic Kingdom. And Magic Kingdom, I mean, obviously you want to go there, but it's the most expensive park. You can look at days and times, and sometimes they're cheaper than others, so check that out. If you don't need Park Hopper, don't get it, because it adds a good bit to your ticket price. If you can just go to one park a day, you'll save 20 or 30%, not wanting, you know, not jumping around. So, you know, if that's not something you absolutely need to do, you can definitely save some money. I'm sure y'all have other tips you can tell me about in the comments, so let me know. I'd love to know them. Everybody else would love to know them, and maybe we can make another video about this. But let me know in the comments, what are your tips for saving money at Disney World, because the little things add up. We have found this out the hard way. You get there, you kind of got a budget in mind, and then you start seeing all this cool stuff, or you notice that there's a dining reservation open that you didn't think you could get, or any of that stuff, and you just start spending a little more, and then finally, even, I think I've told this before, we, on our last trip, or no, maybe it was 2 trips ago, I was like, let's just eat at the cafeteria at Art of Animation, because that's where we were staying one night, just for the whatever. And it was over $100 for 3 of us to eat at Art of Animation in the cafeteria. I mean, now granted, I got a bunch of junk, you know what I mean? I got like a meal plus a dessert and a drink. Here's another thing, drinks. A Coca-Cola is like $6. Order your, I didn't even put this on my list, but order your groceries from Walmart. They'll bring them and leave them with Bell Services. Pick them up when you're coming into the resort. And my advice would be, get your order ready before you go. Put it in the Walmart app. And then, you know, whatever day you're going to check in, you can put, like, you want them delivered at 10 a.m. or whatever. Bell Services is going to hold it. So it don't matter if it sits there for a couple hours. They have refrigerators. They have everything. They're going to refrigerate the stuff. You don't have to worry about it. And we have done this enough times to where I completely trust them. No issues whatsoever. Order your soft drinks, your waters, snacks, anything like that, just order it from Walmart. It'll be way cheaper. Throw them in a backpack or throw them in a whatever. Even if you're going to the cafeteria, take you a Coca-Cola or water out of your stash and take it with you, and you'll save $6. And if you know, $6 times, if you got a family of 4, that's $24. I mean, I know I'm just penny pinching here, but it all adds up. It all adds up. So we went to the cafeteria and spent like $100 and a couple dollars, and I about fell out, because you can also, this is not on my list, multiple times we have just door dashed. It'll be late. We're coming back from, say, Magic Kingdom. It's 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night. When we get on the bus, I'll jump on DoorDash, punch us in an order, hit go, and about the time we get back to the resort, DoorDash is pulling in, and the same thing, they'll leave that at the front if they need to, but I usually like to meet them because it's prepared food, like, waiting on us. Once or twice, I mean, I've had to wait 3 minutes or something when we get back, but there's a ton of restaurants in Orlando, obviously, and we have door dashed some really nice seafood and different stuff for way cheaper than that $103 or whatever we spent at the cafeteria for some junk hot dogs and French fries. You know what I mean? So don't be scared to use DoorDash. They're used to coming in the resorts, and I'll just put in the notes. You know, I'll look the dress up, whatever, and I'll put in the notes, we're at All-Star Movies, and I'll meet you out front. I'm wearing a red shirt or whatever, you know, and then at least they know. They'll just pull up to the breezeway, and usually there'll be several people pulling up to the breezeway, and they'll say, hey, Jeremy, and I'm like, yep, that's me. Or one time they were looking for somebody else, and it was I thought it was my driver, but it wasn't, so the next one was. But don't be scared to use DoorDash, or even, I hadn't used it a ton, but Instacart, you know, they can deliver. Walmart delivery can deliver, Uber Eats, all that stuff. There's private groups I've found of like ex-Disney employees and all that deliver food. In my research, they're a good bit higher than just doing like Walmart, but it's up to you. There's groups, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's different groups that do that. So be mindful of any food you're going to spend a lot of money on. So even in the park, I don't remember, I think it might have been that same $6. One day I randomly wanted to grab a water because I had ran out, and I about fell out when I seen what it cost. You can get free waters at the parks. Most of the restaurants will have a tray sitting there, like in the summer, with cups of water, and you just walk up and ask for a cup of water and they'll give it to you. Or if you see that tray, you can get it. But that's another money saving tip. Let me know in the comments. I'll go ahead and stop because I don't have any more notes for stuff. But let me know in the comments the ways you save money at Disney World. And I think if you kind of compiled all these together, it would be very easy to save hundreds of dollars, you know, kind of little increments at a time. So thanks for watching. Watch our live feed on Mondays at 6 p.m. We're giving away t-shirts, and it's been going good. So check that out, and we'll see y'all on the next video.